this world. This ain't just breakfast. This is my whole world.
Welcome to Intuitive Investing. I'm your host, Marisa Lee, and I'm here once again with the great Cinnamon Mancini. Thank you for joining me, Cinnamon.
Hi, Marissa the Magnificent. How are you, my friend?
Wonderful, wonderful. We've got a lot to talk about today. There's a lot of good things happening in the crypto market. Bitcoin did it hit $70,000 today?
It did hit 70,000. It did hit 70,000. I know. I saw it and I immediately sent it to you because what is so exciting? That's just so exciting. But there's lots that's going on behind the scenes. So maybe let's talk about why Bitcoin is running. Sorry, just moving it up. Yeah, this green candle just shot straight up. Right now it's sitting at, what's the date today, Marissa?
Today is the 19th.
Yeah, right now we're at 68,224.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we got
one of the things that I love about crypto is that when it starts running up, it runs up fast. It does not move like the stock market. It's like when it shoots up, it's like a rocket. But then when it tanks, it goes down fast too. So we got to keep that in mind. But we have a lot of exciting things happening in the crypto market. Recently, there was a big White House meeting with the CFTC, the SEC, and a bunch of crypto CEOs with the president, and they were setting guidelines for the crypto market because the Clarity Act hasn't passed. And honestly, I like it better this way. So
yeah, for sure. Because let's see if I can get this screen shared. Let's see.
There we go.
SEC proposes new regulation for crypto assets. So talk about putting pressure on the government to actually do their job. Trump is just brilliant at how he tries to get people to do the right thing. And he is definitely a proponent of crypto assets. So it looks like what they're doing is they're making a determination between when a cryptocurrency, when a digital asset is a security versus when it becomes a commodity. And we want it to be a commodity. Like Bitcoin and Ethereum have all been determined that they are commodities. So that goes into the CFTC. Did I get that right?
Yep.
That's the name of that. Let's see. This right here, Paul Atkins says America must and will lead in crypto as SEC chair hails most historic step to modernize securities laws for digital assets. So look, this is forward movement, people. This is great. This is good news. And then how interesting is that today Bitcoin is running, hit 70,000. It looks like it bumped down a little bit. It's still hovering at 68, but that's great movement. Solana is up over $80. If the market is clearly reacting to this good news. And
this is just the beginning.
It is.
That's what I love about this. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, definitely the ball has been kicked into place. I don't know. Can you see me move us around? I feel like I'm looking over here at you at the side. I just want to scoot this up here where I can see you. But yeah, so that is all good news. And so if we're wondering why is Bitcoin running, why is Solana running, it's running because the SEC is stepping in, and we feel super positive about that. And how fun that we waited until today. Remember, we were like, when should we do the next episode, Marissa? And something just said Wednesday, even though we knew they were meeting yesterday at the White House, all of the powers that be got together yesterday. We're like, no, Wednesday is going to be the day. And what's happening now? Bitcoin's running, Solana's running. So for all of our friends out there that have been so disappointed with the bear market, which we tried to redirect you all with that, and bear markets are a good thing. They are a good thing. Now we're going to start to reap some of the benefits. That's how that feels to me. What about you, Marissa? What do you think?
It's relieving, honestly. I remember at the beginning of August, I ran an extensive tarot spread on the Clarity Act and the energy of the crypto market for August. And I got wonderful cards and I had a really good feeling. And so then, as things progressed with the Clarity Act and the Senate went to recess and they didn't vote on it, everybody kind of just went doom and gloom. And they're like, you were wrong. And I'm just sitting there like,
but the energy, remember, Marissa?
No, but what's good about that is that we're starting to see the crypto market come alive, number one. Number two, there are regulations being put in place. It's just not the way that we originally anticipated it was going to, right? And I still see the Clarity Act passing. You watch, the Senate comes back from recess. They're going to be pissed they're not going to like all of these regulations that were set in place by the SEC and the CFTC and the president. And they're going to, attack the president and say, he's making too much money,
Right.
So they're going to go and they're going to pass the Clarity Act. So this is actually really good for the Clarity Act. Now, I feel like there's going to be some wording in the Clarity Act that's not going to be the best in the world, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, we're still getting the guidelines and the regulations, and we're going to start seeing the crypto market pump. And that's what matters. Like, really, at the end of the day, that's what the retail investors are looking for. We're looking for the crypto market to rise in value, and that is happening. So, and this is just the very, very beginning, right? It's like taking a half of a step forward, but we're going to see it start to run. So I'm really excited about that. Now, is it going to happen overnight? No. It's not going to happen overnight, but like, let's just give it a few weeks and let's just see what happens. I'm telling you, it's going to get really good, and it's going to be refreshing after the market being down for an entire year. So,
yeah. Well, Trump sure knows how to put pressure to get things done, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I did look it up. So Paul Atkins of the SEC, so he came in and took over, I think, for not Jerome Powell, but it was Gary Gensler. He came in and took over. So he finished out his time, but now he has now it's been re-upped. So he's going to be part of the SEC for the next 6 years. And the truth is that even if we didn't get the Clarity Act to pass, and I'm not saying, people, that it's not going to pass, I do think it's going to pass. The truth of the matter is that Paul Atkinson is pro crypto. He's pro digital assets. He understands that this is not a United States issue. This is a global issue. And if we don't make decisions on regulations, like already Japan is making regulations, already Russia is making regulations, already China is making regulations. So we're already moving in that direction. So there's that. But we can feel comfortable that Paul Atkins, I mean, he has the say on who he's going to go after. And it looks like the way they're setting it up now is they're giving increments. So $5 million, as long as you're building something that's decentralized, then there's a whole other bracket for $75 million. And it's just kind of the suggestion of what everybody came together to agree upon, which then got me thinking about public and private blockchains. It got me thinking about one of the viewers from last week's episode made a comment that got me down the rabbit hole of public versus private blockchains. But what do you think? Do you think we should pull a card before we keep going?
Yeah, let's start it.
Okay, let's see. Because, we always set the intention that spirit is with us and with all of you in the show. And let's see what they're bringing us. Oh, water.
Ooh.
Water. So I'm going to guess that has something to do with being fluid, right?
I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and didn't they do that study in Japan with how you can think good thoughts into water and actually fortify the crystals in water or change the molecular structure of the water?
Oh, absolutely. It's interesting you say that because I have this machine. It's called like infopathy, I believe.
Okay.
And what it does is it charges water with light. And you hook it up to your computer and you can put all kinds of stuff in there. So, and let's say that you are lacking like vitamin A or whatever, or vitamin D, you could put that in there, charge it for vitamin D and drink it. And all it does, I know it's crazy. It's actually really interesting. So
what about methylated B vitamins and methylated folate? Do you know? Can it do that? Just because some people, myself included, like I have the MTHFR, which means that I can't take regular B vitamins. They don't get into my cells. I need the methylated version of B vitamins in order to get into my cell and give the cell all the things it needs. So that would be interesting if you could do that. Okay, let's see what water is. Definition: colorless, transparent liquid. Rivers, oceans, or lakes. Used for drinking, bathing, or cleansing. This is a powerful card. Be fluid in your thoughts. There is great power in water if you channel it in a positive direction. Drawing this card can mean an end to your troubles. In a sink or swim situation, how many times do we say a rising tide, which the tide is the water, and the money printer goes on, M2 money supply comes in, right? That's the water. When it rises, it floats all boats, and each boat is an asset. That's that's very fun. So, in a sink or swim situation, keep your chin up. Do not panic. Relax and allow yourself to rise above. Water represents emotions, perhaps a good cry. We don't need to cry. Everybody's been crying when the Bears were in town. The Bears are getting ready to leave. So water is also a purifier. A good time to look honestly at situations, so maybe your portfolio, and clean up any loose ends. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. Water reflects what is life reflecting back to you. It's the sustainer of all life. Know you have the strength to endure and that outside energy support you. Spirit is calling you to interact in some way with water. Swim, go to the lake or ocean. Even a relaxing bath or shower can clear your mind and be rejuvenating. Connect with the healing touch of spirit. Well, that's lovely, isn't it?
It really is.
So yeah, and I love the whole water reference. How many times do we say a rising tide floats all boats? Yes, and assets
I love that.
to run. So let me go back to the screen share. And so we had someone last week. I'm just going to move this over here. I don't know if you can still see me or not. But someone said, MAR March O Fairs 1390 posted. You see that there?
No one knows the winner. Might not be crypto. Every coin will adopt AI anyway. Too much competition racing towards AI.
Oh, they did post that one. I was looking at the one above, honey.
Oh, sorry.
XRP is a public blockchain. Canton is private. That's potentially the unpopularity of XRP by institutions. They love privacy. And I thought about that comment and I was like, I had to do a little bit of digging, right? I had to do a little bit of understanding because when I think of XRP, I think of institutions. But the analogy that I use between private and public blockchains, which is a city, like my city in Virginia Beach, but then we've got several bases. And unless you have a military ID, you don't get to go on base. And so to me, that's like a private blockchain. You can't see what's going on base unless you have a need or a reason to be there. And so I looked into it, and XRP is most certainly not private. It is all public. So then this viewer has a point because institutions they are not, look at the whole point of institutions to have privacy in their transfer of money is that if they delay that money by 10 hours, if they delay, so money moves, it moves in big chunks. So let's just say you've got $1 billion and you're moving that $1 billion from one place to another. If you hold on to it for say an extra day, you're incurring yield, you're incurring money by holding that money. And so you want that to be private. You don't want people to see that the way you live and function as a bank is actually off the backs of other people's money. So you do want that to be private. And XRP is not private in that way. It is public, so everybody can see. So I started to look into, which actually got me super excited about XRP. Like I know some of your viewers are gonna.
Wow, you got excited about XRP? That's
I did for real, because they're shifting their focal point. I really did think XRP in the beginning, moving on the Swift rails, old traditional finance, private blockchain, because they were in the beginning, and in the beginning they had to take that technology and do something with it, which is why they got attacked by Gary Gensler. That's why they spent all that time in court, because they were so far ahead of their time. And in all that, I sold out of it and then what happened? They're in court, and then new technology came up and how people were applying it. But it looks to me that they're staying current because their blockchain is more now for real world assets. So this right here is an article that I pulled up. So if anybody wants to look into this and just understand what we just talked about, the difference between public and private. So remember, my visual is a city that has a base inside of it. And what happens on the base, you have to have special permission to see what's going on that base. And it's good. The only reason you want to keep something private is is because you're doing something that you don't want other people to see. In my opinion, I can't think of one reason to hide anything when it comes to money, unless what you're doing is you just don't want other people to see it. So this, yeah.
Well, I think it's pretty natural for people to not want other people to know necessarily about their finances specifically. So
Really?
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, okay, we're screen sharing right now. Would you log into your bank account and show the world what you have in there? No. Like, right, nobody would do that, right? Because it's just private. It's private. It's private.
I
So
hear your point. I do. I hear your point. But right now, that's not what we're doing. We're building technology to see. Well, first of all, we're building technology to see what's possible, how we're going to utilize it in the future. But we're also asking people to give their money to us. Look, there is something in this article that every single person that wants to buy into a private blockchain needs to absolutely understand, which is this. And this is done specifically with Canton. I didn't pull up the paperwork on it, but I referenced the same idea with XRP. And this is the idea, is that you've got all of these people that want you to move money. So you got Standard Charters, you got Bank of America, you've got all these people that want to move money across your blockchain technology because it happens like super fast. Oh, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, Marissa, help.
well, at the end of the day, this is my personal
Oh, I
opinion
know what it
about pub. Go ahead.
I
Go
know what
ahead.
it is. So if I want you to move my money and I want to do it privately, I have to pay you a certain amount of money annually, every 2 years. So there is a cost to doing that business. That's what people have to understand. So what I thought was going on with XRP, and I think this is to a degree, is that they're moving money along their ledger, but they're charging, let's say Bank of America, a certain amount of money annually to move that money. That has nothing to do with the value of the token. You don't get more value in the token. That is just good business practice that's happening. And the same thing with the Canton network specifically, because I did a lot of research into that. They get subscription. They call them subscription. You can subscribe to our blockchain. We will move your money along our blockchain rails in this private way on this base, so to speak. But you're going to pay us like $1 million a year or $10 million a year to move that money in secrecy, in privacy. That does not increase the value of the Canton token.
Well, wait, hold on. I understand what you're saying. It doesn't increase the value directly, but think of it like a business. Okay. So if Canton's a business, which it is, right? It's a blockchain and it's a business, it's a registered business. Revenue's coming into that business, and then you're paying the employees. And do the employees, own some coins of Canton? Maybe they have like some kind of regular. There could be a buyback that happens, right? There's always that option. And then also too, the employees, if they have confidence in the project, they're going to add more coins to their portfolio. All right, but it's not going to be the employees that are going to make the price go up, right? But let's just say, Canton does a buyback at some point. People do that when their companies start making money. So it could indirectly increase the value. I'm not saying it's fast. I'm not saying that that's like the end all be all, but I am saying that it is possible when you start seeing blockchains make good money. That's
Okay.
all.
Okay. And
So.
I just don't see how that grows as fast as buying tokens on a public blockchain where there is no investment. I just always
Okay, and then also too, let's say that like a blockchain is taking off and they have a ton of transactions and that just shoots up. That's going to capture the attention of the public.
Mhm.
And then retail investors are going to buy more of that crypto. So that's going to make the price go up. So more business equals the price going up in so many different ways. That's
And
just my opinion.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of thinking out there like that. And I
Mhm.
hear what you're saying because I've heard it from other people before. But this is the thing. So I'm a business owner and I'm always thinking, like, how am I going to make money? And if I'm doing something for someone and I charge them, a fee, like not each time that I do this thing for them, which is done on with the tokens on the rail system, but if I charge them a subscription, an overall general subscription, it has nothing to do with that token and the value of that token. How I'm making my money is when I have company A, company B, company C, company D pay me millions of dollars to have access to this thing that I created. That all goes to me. I'm not issuing stocks. You're not making money off of the stocks that are a part of my business. These are
okay, but let's say that all the major banks start using that one blockchain. Okay, and that information gets out. What's going to happen to retail investors? People are going to look at that and be like, oh, I need to get some of that in my portfolio. The banks are using this. There's adoption. Adoption equals a higher market cap. Just my opinion.
Okay.
At least that's what I've seen in terms of the trends.
I mean, and that's fair. Like your perspective of how you see it, I've heard it from a lot of people, and I get that thinking. I'm just saying that for me, I run a business. And if I'm making all the money I need to be making, and I'm getting those customers to come to me, and I'm making money off those customers, and you don't own any shares in my company, you're not getting a kickback from that, because I have no legal obligation for me to give you kickback. Now, if you decide that there's value in my company, and so there's a token, which is making me actually really start to think, what is the difference between an influencer like Trump making the Trump token, and then like it's a popularity contest and everybody thinks he's great, or anybody that buys this token thinks that he's great and it runs it up. How is that different than people just thinking that Canton is great because it's got all this institutional adoption and it's going to run up? It's more like a popularity contest. To me, there's no real value that claims more value for the company. At least I can't see that.
Well, hold on. So let's say that there's more adoption with Canton, right? And they start growing their blockchain. What if they reinvest some of that revenue to hiring more developers and to offer more services to make it like, you just keep on developing and developing. You reinvest that money into your company, and then it offers more services. And then as more adoption comes, more investors come in. So it's just like a whole circle, right? And we're not 100% sure how everything's going to play out verbatim, but we do know that the blockchain is going to run, and we're starting to see very beginning, early stages of that. So
no, for sure. And I agree with all those things, but I go back to the premise, which is what your viewer stated, is that institutions don't want things done publicly. They want them done privately, which means they're going to pay for them to be done privately. And why? Because if I am sitting on $1 billion and I can make $1 million in revenue just by holding on to it for one extra day before I send it down the blockchain, I am going to hold on to that, and I am going to take that $1 million and put it in my pocket. That is exactly what I'm going to do.
So, I don't know if you saw this. I did an interview with Nancy Orlean Weber. She's a good friend of mine. She's a wonderful psychic. She finds missing people. I had her just look at pictures of crypto CEOs. She knows nothing about crypto. And one of the things I love about her, she can pull out all kinds of information about people. She looked at the CEO of Canton and said, I feel like there was some kind of intention when he created this crypto for the average person to make money off of bank transactions instead of the opposite way. The banks making money off of us. And that was so dead on. So, I mean, at the end of the day, let's make money off the banks, right? Let them sign up for Canton. Let's invest in Canton, call it a day, make some money, right?
And if it does go that way, then yes, I'm just saying as an investor, there's too many different variables to me in that. And the reason The reason why I love blockchain technology is because this technology puts truth, it puts integrity into a system that has never had integrity. People making money off of other people's money, there is no integrity in that whatsoever. Like right now, we're in the summer doldrums because everybody that's taken our retirement money, our investment money, that is paying attention to us, they're all gone on vacation for a whole month. I can't go on vacation for a whole month. Can you go on vacation for a whole month? You know why they can go on vacation for a whole month? Because they're using our money to make money and then they're getting a kickback for that. All that in my mind has to stop. So I don't want to be a part of any of that going forward into the future. I feel like Spirit, God, the universe brought us the technology of blockchain technology to make everything transparent so that people could regain the control of their money. They could make the yields, like you say, on their money. I did want to say that in and through all my research, I could see that XRP is pivoting because they are like your viewer said, they are absolutely public, which means two things. Institutions are not going to want to use their platform because they want it private. And whoever wrote that is absolutely correct. But XRP knows that. And their focus from all the research I've done is for the retail investor and also through real world assets. So just in the same way we said Algorand is playing to where the puck is going to be, which is in the future, is how is the adoption going to come? What are the real world assets from blockchain technology? XRP is absolutely pivoted into that arena. And which kind of makes sense because they were the leaders from the beginning, right? That's why they were targeted by Gary Gensler because they were doing things that there were no regulations for.
I had a dream. I get messages in my dreams
I do.
that in the future we're going to be buying groceries with XRP.
Oh.
And it was just like a random thing. But I thought that was really interesting. And I made a video about it. This was, I don't know, 6 months ago or something like that. And somebody sent me an article about grocery stores taking XRP, which is just nuts to me.
I love that.
But I do think we are going to see a $5 XRP. I'm going to say fairly soon. I'm not going to give an exact time frame because it's kind of like the when part of making psychic predictions is very difficult. And, it could be a little bit touch and go, but I feel like we're going to see a $5 XRP pretty soon here. I think XRP is going to be a very good winner short term. Okay, because everybody's looking for those short-term gains right now, because the market's been ripped forever, right? But everybody wants that fast turnaround at this point. If that's what you're looking for, XRP is where you want to be. I feel like it's going to hit that $5 price point or close to it, and then it's going to drop, right? So if you're looking to make some fast cash, that's my personal opinion and psychic prediction, of course, not financial advice.
But I see now I would agree with that. So now that we're talking even further into it. So if there's only so much money in a project, right? Let's just say project A has only got so much money in that project. And part of the money is being made behind the scenes in the form of subscriptions. That token cannot go up as high as a token that is on a public blockchain where everything is seen. The kickback, the money that comes from an investment, if part of it's being made through subscriptions that are being paid directly to the company, that means there's a whole section that's never going to go to that token because there's only so much money in
Okay, so basically what you're saying is retail investors are going to make more money on public blockchains.
100%.
Okay. Well, that's good information. That's good information. Yes. All
100%.
right.
100%. And I even think that going forward, XRP, because it is public, because of your viewers' question that made me go down the rabbit hole, I can see that this person is correct. The XRP is public. And in a public blockchain, that is specifically seeking retail investors, that is specifically working towards real world assets, the amount of money that an investor can make is so much more because there's not a part of that money that's being paid in the form of subscriptions.
I love that. That's awesome. Okay, so something interesting happened recently. Okay, with World Liberty Financial, we have to talk about it.
Okay,
they got a banking license.
Okay.
And, Donald Trump is involved in this. And so I sit there and I think I just laughed when I heard that one. I was like, oh, the Senate's going to come back from recess, and that is going to be the topic of conversation. If you're president, you can't hold a banking license. I can hear Elizabeth Warren already, so, oh God.
But why can't he? Just tell me, like, why can't he?
I think they're making it where if you're a sitting president, you can't have a banking license. Now, here's the thing. It's not like he personally owns the banking license. It's not like he's the one running this crypto. He holds stake in it. Okay. His family holds stake in it. He's got other people running it, just like every other business he has. It's not like he is hands-on with just one business. He has people running everything. Okay. But this is really important. I think one of the things that is significant here is he was debanked by several banks, and that's come out recently because he's suing them all, rightfully so. I personally think that when somebody is debanked, there needs to be a valid reason for it. I don't think banks should be able to just pick and choose and say, oh, whatever. According to regulations, we feel, we can't give you a reason, but you violated, the Banking Act or whatever it is, and they just debank you. They don't give you a reason, because then that way you can't sue them, right? Because they're not giving you a reason. But Trump is doing that anyways. He's suing Citibank, I believe it is, and JP Morgan. So what he did was he started, he really pushed crypto. He started this. I don't know if he started this specifically. I don't quote me verbatim there, but
corporation maybe.
Yeah, but so now he's involved in World Liberty Financial, and he's got this banking license, and it's interesting. That's the biggest FU to traditional finance is, well, I'm going to start a decentralized bank, and I'm going to be my own bank.
Well, you show me.
And I love that. That's that's the FAFO energy. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's like and listen, I don't agree with everything Trump does. All right. There are certain things about him that I definitely don't like.
This thing. You like this thing. You like double birdie.
I like somebody coming back and sticking it to the bankers. Yeah. I do. Because the banks have ruled everything for so long. Look at how much money they make. And, they set all these rules and guidelines. They debank people. They've debanked some crypto people I've read about, and it's really sad, and it makes me sick. So it's kind of a big FU, and I love that. So,
did you hear also last week? I don't know if it's this week or the end of last week that they started making movements that not the Clarity Act, the Genius Act. I think that comes into play the first month in 2027, I think, but they're starting to talk about it to get that put into play, which is 1-for-1. My understanding is 1-for-1 with the stable coins. And then it's well, who's going to get the yields when you're holding, when you're holding that 1-for-1, how is that going to work? But to me, it's that is just reinventing banking into a digital world. So anybody out there that has Bitcoin, in the future, you can hold your Bitcoin on a node and be your own bank. And there's not going to be anybody that can do all about it because they can't, because it's on a public platform. But Bitcoin's also been determined to be a commodity and not a security, so they're not going to be regulated in that way. But to me, that just makes sense. We're going to be our own bank. We can then in the future be bankers for other people, lend out what we have so somebody else can grow their business, and then we can get it's just another way of investing. And that's how I see that in the future. And I'm just going to be real. I really just like apps. In the future, we're all going to make our own apps. Our AI is going to make whatever apps we need for whatever reason.
I mean, we could do that now. We do that right now. You could have AI make your own app right now, and I'm like, why did I even learn coding? I'll tell you what. When I was making websites, it was every 2 years I had to take classes to learn something new because it was just constantly changing. And I got to the point where I'm like, man, I am tired of having to go to school every 2 years and relearn the same trade that I've been doing for years. Right. Yeah. And so now AI is making everything so easy. You can write your own apps. There's apps you can download that make apps. I mean, it's just
It's so
crazy.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I don't remember where we're going with the apps. Oh, I
Sorry.
know. I think what's going to happen is in the future, like you're going to have those few blockchains that are going to be steady and true and stable, and everything else is going to go on top of them. Everything else is going to go on top of those blockchains. And that's how those real world assets are going to move. That's how my AI is going to pay your AI for your, whatever you're selling here in Madagascar and Lithuania. Like that's how we're going to do commerce, is right on that blockchain. And yeah, I think so. Just keep that in mind. Like, I think that's the biggest message. That's the thing I always keep in my mind. And as an investor, I try to find those assets that are immutable. I am a Taurus. 6 times over in the 12th house. I want things to be steady, but I also want them to be steady from that other world's perspective, right? So I'm constantly curious about what's going on in the world, and things are changing at such a fast and dynamic rate. What does everything reduce to? What does everything reduce to in my mind, in my investor mind? Because it's the Wild West out there. We don't even have regulations yet, people. So investing your money can be a big risk and a big gamble, and I'm just not willing to do that. So I keep it simple. I reduce it down to Solana, Bitcoin, Tesla, and help me, Michael Saylor's thing. Like that. My
MicroStrategy.
Yeah. And shortly here, I have property I'm going to sell, and I'm going to get into STRC, right? For those yields, for those dividends, to make some money. But I just keep it simple, because to me, in my mind, what is 100% or nearly 100% going into the future? What is immutable at this point in the Wild West? Everything else, it could come, it could go. Something could look so fantastic. Like, I do think Ethereum is out. I just do. I think it's too slow. I think it was always institutional based, but there's some people like Tom Lee that are like, oh no, Ethereum is going to go to like $50,000 or
Well,
something.
wait, hold on. So I just have a difference of opinion on you
Let's
in this
go.
one.
Give it. Yeah,
Okay.
give it. Your people want to hear it.
Is it the best blockchain in the world? No, but it's been around for so long and there's so much money in it, and people have just invested a lot of time and effort. And in terms of market cap, what is it, number 2? Right. So it's going to, in my opinion, I believe Ethereum is going to be around. Absolutely. It's going to grow. It's over $2,000 today. Did you see it? It went up significantly. Now, I just don't see it going anywhere. There's too many projects on it right now. And even though the whole crypto market is still in very beginning stages, there is significant adoption with Ethereum. I'm not saying it's my favorite, but just from a retail investor standpoint, I do think that this is going to be one that's going to grow substantially over time. Is it the best blockchain? No. No, you and I feel like that's what the energy that you're picking up on when it comes to Ethereum is. It's really not the best. I mean, in my opinion, in terms of functionality, Algorand's like hands down the best, but
it's got regulation right now. We know Ethereum is a commodity, right? It's safe. So institutions, people are in Ethereum and building on Ethereum because nothing else has really those regulations yet. So just wait, because everything is going to do another shift and another turn once we get regulations, once we get the Clarity Act, once we go a little bit further onto this experiment that we're all in, which is how to apply this new blockchain technology and what it's going to mean for agentic commerce. Like this is it's a study, like it's a theory, like we're all just trying to figure it out at the same time. And once we get closer to understanding where the boundaries are, the parameters, what's the best use case scenario, it is going to morph and change again. And I think when that morph and change comes, I think that there will be very, very few blockchains that both serve public and private interests. I think there's going to be a straight distinction in the ground, a line drawn in the sand, and it might just be Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid might just be the one blockchain that serves both institutions and public needs. It might.
I think you're right about consolidation in the future. I don't want people to worry about that necessarily right now. I think there's going to be quite a few still around. I don't think there's going to be, dozens, but I think we'll be down to I don't think we're going to be down to 3. I know you went to the SUI conference and they were like, oh, there's only going to be 3 blockchains in the future. I don't believe that that's the case. I think we're going to be down to maybe 6 around there. Maybe a couple more than that. I think Solana's going to be around. I think Ethereum's going to be around. Bitcoin's going to be around. I think Algorand's going to be around. SUI's going to be around, obviously.
Well, I think the next major shift is going to come with real world assets. And it was, just for the record, I do not believe I heard that at the SUI conference. I think that was a thought I had from consensus.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Oh, I thought that you were saying that they were saying that in some of their speeches. I could have sworn that's what you said.
At consensus, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a SUI event was totally separate. That was like put on by SUI.
Gotcha.
To move that blockchain forward. That was that SUI live event that got posted all over the world. And there were like 100 of us in-house for it. That was one full day in and of itself. It was consensus. And because the reason why that's a different distinction is because consensus and actually, at consensus, I'm pretty sure they said 3 or 4 major blockchains, and that's it. There was going to be a natural consolidation. And I think maybe in my mind, maybe I put SUI there, but I don't want to put that on other people if they didn't say it. They're going to be coming back.
Gotcha. Well, maybe I remembered it wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just want to be clear that might just have to fall on me. That might have been my own, interpretation of things.
Yeah.
And I think I just did like the SUI and still do. The problem with SUI is going to be what is going to be their practical application. There's so many things that you need because they've got the AI factor. But are the developers like how are the developers? Are developers staying? Are they getting more developers? What are they doing on that blockchain? Especially because we're in a bear market right now. Is there enough money for people to start up new projects? Like, I don't know. I haven't recently looked into SUI, but I'm going to guess they're struggling a little bit because their price is down. But see, now that's the benefit of a public blockchain because they're not getting more money from anywhere else other than what they are actively doing on their blockchain at this point in time. And yeah.
Well, I think that we're going to see money come into the crypto market soon.
Yes.
Now, obviously, we want this to happen sooner rather than later. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll take a month. Maybe it'll take a month and a half. Maybe it'll happen in the next week. I'm not exactly sure when, but I do see a substantial rise in the crypto market. So this is where you guys want to join my Patreon account because I put out a monthly crypto report with all kinds of psychic predictions. So to join that, visit patreon.com/cryptopsychic. Sorry, I had to stop and plug that. Go ahead, Cinnamon.
No, I love it. I was giving you a minute. It's just good. So while you're doing that plug, I just want to say happy 2nd birthday to Megs. That's my granddaughter. And that was just my daughter probably calling because we're all getting together after this to go have a big celebration for Magnolia. So happy birthday, Magnolia. Grandma loved you so much.
Happy birthday.
No, I honestly, I don't know why everybody isn't signing up for your Patreon, Marisa. Like, I have seen your reports and the amount of effort that you put in to those reports, the amount of information that you put in that people can't get in any other way other than that report. I don't know why. And you're so reasonably priced.
Well, it's growing. It's definitely growing. I mean, from where I started out a year ago and where it's at now, I'm like, okay,
good for you.
I can't complain, but I do plug it because I'm like, man, if you're a crypto investor, this is really where you want to be. It's a fun report. So it takes me like 3 days to write that. So
I know you always seem to be in the middle of it.
I know.
Can't talk right now. Click.
Yeah. And then you're like, send me that crypto report. Yeah, right.
True stories. Very good.
Anyways, so right now is a good time to stock up on your layer 1 blockchains, ladies and gentlemen. And keep in mind too, having a little bit of AI in your portfolio isn't a bad idea. It has not even begun to have adoption on the blockchain yet. So you want to get in early. That's where you're going to make some money. So right now, I've never been a big World Liberty Financial fan. However, with that banking license, and then I think about Trump and Brad Garlinghouse sitting in the same room together. And, XRP has their own banking license. So I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, Now there's a big difference between World Liberty Financial and XRP. Totally, like night and day, right? But I do feel like Trump is kind of looking at Brad saying, what are they doing? Right.
Yeah. I mean,
And kind of doing something similar. And who else? What other cryptos have a banking license other than World Liberty Financial and XRP? So I would definitely add a little bit of World Liberty Financial to my portfolio. I'm not saying go heavy on it, right? I wouldn't throw thousands of dollars in it. But I mean, what is it? 6 cents today? It was like 5 cents before this meeting. So it's gone up a penny. And when something's only 5 cents, a penny is substantial. So I'd add a little bit to my portfolio. Just, obviously not financial advice, but why not, right? Make some money. And I think XRP is going to run soon. Algorand at 8 cents is just insane to me. I can't tell people enough to add more to their portfolio, but of course not financial advice. So anyways, I do think we're going to see that start to move a little bit, come alive slightly. I'm not saying it's going to jump up. I think XRP is going to be the biggest winner over the course of the next month and a half.
I'm a fan right now. I'm a fan right now.
All right. I am shocked to hear that, because you're just like, I'm not every time I talk to you privately about XRP, you're like, I'm not an XRP girly pop. And here you are like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy some XRP. And I'm like, all right, I love that. I love that.
Even yesterday, what did I say? I said, Marissa, do not sick the XRP army on me. I do not want to be talking about XRP tomorrow. And then I saw, for whatever reason, I saw that comment and I was like, no, it is private and public. It's both. Like, it's a hybrid. And then I looked into it and it is not. And then I started doing deeper research about what they're morphing into. And that just got me super curious. Like, that to me is worth a little bit of toss into the wishing well.
I love it. I think it's an important message.
And Ondo.
Oh yeah, Ondo. Yes.
I'm pretty sure Ondo is also on their blockchain. I'm pretty sure Ondo Finance, and it's funny. Oh my gosh, I just remembered this. You said, Cinnamon, go talk to Nathan before the show this week and ask him what he sees. Oh my gosh. And I said, okay, I would. I wonder if he was guiding a little bit of all that research, because Ondo Finance is on the XRP blockchain and it's done publicly. Right. And they were like, remember, like, Nathan Ullman was all about doing the right thing for the right reason. He got wrapped up. He was working for a while with, what's that guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, and learned how to really learned what he did not want to be doing, and then started doing something, got his sea legs about him, started doing the right thing for the right reasons to really, and get a team together to move Ondo Finance in a very positive direction. Remember, like, we did a show about all this where I connected with, and that was the information that came through. And that's why, go talk to him. And I'm like, okay. Well, very well. Well, clearly, because he must be because why else would Ondo Finance be on that particular blockchain? Right. Yeah. And also Japan. There was another one. I did have it. I think we just didn't go. Let me see if I can just look right quick. Is it this one? Right here, key context on Ripple partnerships versus XRP price. So that is kind of different too, right? That's where they're getting money from institutions. Like, there's over 300 banking institutions and financial institutions, including recent infrastructure rollouts with regional lenders like Jeonbuk Bank in South Korea. Like, these are Deutsche Bank and MasterCard are all on XRP. Yep. Chain transaction volume of the XRP token. Like, this is what you want. Do you still have? Sorry. Do you still have a rotary phone?
No, that's my cell phone. It's connected to my headphones. That's why you heard it. So sorry about that.
So here, recent institutional milestones for XRP, high-profile cooperative tests, such as tokenized asset settlements involving MasterCard and JP Morgan, frequently lean on stablecoins and rails on the XRP ledger, rather than generating direct speculative demand for XRP. So just kind of doing some of the research. Oh, I think.
Yeah, no, I love that. You know, when you were talking about public versus private blockchains, that was on a Chainlink website. Yes, and that was one that kind of popped into my head today. I was like, Chainlink's going to run soon. And so
You don't
It
talk
just
about.
went up. I think we're in like the $9 range. I think it was in the $8 range before. But Chainlink is going to be one that's going to be around for years, in my opinion. That CEO is so connected to so many people. They're involved in,
Chainlink.
yes, it's an Oracle blockchain.
I
So,
love that. That to me screams future.
yes. So
Yeah.
Chainlink is one you guys want to get in your
See,
portfolio. I think we're going to see at least a $20 to $30 chain link coming up here soon. I know it's a little bit of a jump from where it's at right now, but when we get into a bull run situation, I think it's going to go up even more than that. So
that's
Chainlink's going to be one of those, like if you have it in your portfolio years from now, you're going to be like, man, that was a good buy.
I'll do a
So
deep dive before the next show. I'll do a deep dive into Chainlink.
sure.
Because I really would like to know. I know that they are an oracle, and we've talked about this, like you and I are oracles, right? We
Mm-hmm.
just get information from spirit world, right? And we bring it into human world. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to show that one more that I had saved about all the different banks that are utilizing the XRP ledger.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll get
Go
back to it
ahead.
in a second. But so I love oracles, and to me, that just makes sense going forward, right? Like landlines at one point in time were like the best thing since sliced bread, right? So just like at one point in time, you're going to look and say, okay, these blockchains are so great, but they're going to end up being, in my mind, like landlines. Right? Now we're going to have cell phones. What are oracles? Oracles are like the cell phones. It's like you just get information from up here and you just like download it onto the blockchain. That
Mm-hmm.
is sounds more reasonable to me. Like as we keep morphing and morphing and morphing into what we will eventually become in that digital asset world, I feel like oracles are the future. Just like I think real world assets are the future, because who's going to be utilizing that those two? It's going to be our AI. Like
Mm-hmm.
our AI is going to be doing commerce for us, and it's going to be just one machine talking to another machine as fast as it can on the blockchain with real world assets, getting information, real time information through Oracle. So I'll do some research on Chainlink.
You know what else I want you to look up too?
Oh,
Morpho. We
oh,
haven't even begun to talk about decentralized lending. When we talk about not needing banks anymore, people still are going to need to borrow money, right? Especially if they don't have it. Let's say they don't have Bitcoin, they don't have, any crypto. They can turn to the blockchain to get loans. Morpho is going to be really, really good in the future. And actually, they just broke that $2 range. To me, the way it moves reminds me of Near Protocol, where
oh,
it fluctuates. It goes a little bit under $1 and then it goes a little bit over $1 and it moves pretty quickly with the market.
mhm.
So if you wanted to day trade, Morpho and Near Protocol are ones that I would absolutely recommend doing that with, where maybe when it hits like 210, sell, and then wait for it to go down under $1. Maybe it goes down to like $1.90, $1.80, $1.70. You
Mhm.
buy back in. But like you can make some good money going in and out of Morpho and Near Protocol.
Yeah, markets love volatility, right? That's how money is made. You want it to be volatile. And as soon as we start getting regulations, everyone, that is going to stop. That is going to stop. That
Mm,
will be a thing of the past. If it's going to stabilize, if the regulation will stabilize what we're moving into, and that's going to be good. That's going to be good for the whole space long term.
I definitely think once we get regulations, it's going to take a little bit for that to catch up in
Mhm.
terms of the volatility, right? Moving up and down. It's not going to stop instantly, but
Mhm.
I do think more light is going to be shed on people that are messing with the market. And that's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, right. And then I would just say, as a general, like overall sweep, so crypto's getting ready to run, everyone. So that means investments in AI, in there's just the money will come out of all the different spaces once it starts to run, because some people will get into their reptilian brain, and when they see it running up, they'll sell out and they'll run in. So just remember, we're always going against the grain. That's what we do as investors. So when the AI was like going through the roof, like that's not the time to get into AI. You want to be in AI before it runs. So if you miss that boat, you miss that boat.
Mhm.
Don't sell out of your crypto positions, because crypto is getting ready to run because of the regulations, and because that's just where we are in building this whole new structure.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the thing that is a little not worrisome to me. I don't know if worrisome's the right word. There's going to be so many people that are going to jump into the crypto market as it rises and it spikes up, and they hear, "Oh my God, XRP is $4, XRP is $5. I got to get some," and that is the worst time to buy it.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen? They're going to buy in, and then it's going to dip down, and they're going to be like, "Man, I lost so much money in crypto. I hate crypto," and so it's going to leave that bad taste in people's mouths.
Yep. No. Yep.
And so that's what both Cinnamon and I kind of try to help people do, is to prevent that. You want to move against the market, exactly like she said. You know, you want to buy when it's low and you want to sell when it's high. I mean, this is very basic stuff, right? And everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows logically, okay, in order to make money in the stock market or in any kind of investment, you buy low, you sell high, right? That's how you do it. But actually doing it is a whole nother thing, because it's like this weird psychological game that you play with yourself. Like, as they have the fear of missing out, the FOMO, right? If something rises, they're like, "Oh, I need to buy this." I made that mistake back in November of 2021. And I'm so grateful for that mistake with Shiba Inu. I remember buying 1 million coins of Shiba Inu for $100.
Wow.
Thinking, "Oh, it's going to go." It's because it rose substantially, and that's what it was. Now I don't know how much 1 million coins are like with that. I think it's maybe like $10 or something like that. But I was buying into Shiba as it was going. I'm like, this is so, because I made thousands of dollars. I'm like, I want more. I want more. I want more. And I'm grateful for that lesson, because that was very early stages of crypto investing, and whatever. I will never do that again. And as well, especially with meme coins. I mean, we talk about meme coins. I was looking at coinmarketcap.com. They've got like a top gainers section, and it was all meme coins. And I'm like, oh, no. I don't care. I don't know. I still can't do it. I can't do it.
Do you remember where PopCat was and all that? Or no, it didn't stand out.
PopCat? I've never heard.
Yeah, because the teaser for the last one we did, I had picked up Virgo is the name of the banking, I believe. It's what am I trying to say? It's the project on, I believe it's on Solana, and PopCat is on the Solana blockchain. And I got a t-shirt. So I wore the PopCat t-shirt. I was like, PopCat and I are here. So I really don't know anything about PopCat. That was not an endorsement. That was just, being cute and fun because it's a cat. And I don't know where Solana went. I guess she's older listening to us talk about the market, huh?
I cannot wait to see her. I miss her so much.
Yeah. And aren't you going to be out at a show this weekend?
Yes, I will be at the Body, Mind, Spirit Celebration Expo in Wheaton, Illinois, at the DuPage County Fairgrounds. You can visit bmse.net for more show information.
Very good. Very good.
No.
And a shout out to Van and his wife that stopped by to see me in Raleigh. That was fun.
I'm jealous that you got to meet Van.
I did get to meet him. Oh, he's lovely. And his wife is super lovely too. And we got a nice picture. So Van, if you're out there and you're hearing this part of the show, put that picture in the comment section. And for anybody that's because his biggest thing was he was so excited that with your crypto, you actually take questions. Like, it's important that people understand that you're here to be of service. So if somebody has a question about something, like, you're going to look into it, you're going to apply your analysis, you're going to do your research. And that was the thing that Van said. He was just so over the moon that you considered his question.
Oh, that's sweet. I'm happy to help. If you have questions, this is important. I don't necessarily answer every question that is on like YouTube or Spotify or TikTok, but I do answer every question for my Patreon members. So before I publish a crypto report, maybe like a week before, I'll say, hey, if you have any questions, put it in the comments on this specific post. And as I'm writing my report, I go through every single comment and I answer every single question. So you have to be a member of my Patreon. I do have a free membership option. So if you have questions, you can just post it on that post and I will answer them in my report.
Nice. Very, very good.
So,
well, that's what I've got for you today, my friend. How about you? Anything else?
I think that's about it. I'm excited that things are starting to rock and roll with the crypto. It's nice to see Bitcoin, hit that $70,000 mark, even though it dropped a little bit. It's like, whatever. That's just kind of how the market runs. Oh, I made a very small wager on Kalashi. I don't gamble a lot, but I do kind of like doing I think that's what it's called, Kalashi. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. So you can bet on different topics that Trump talks about throughout the month. And I knew that clarity was, on the table. So there was like, is Trump going to mention Bitcoin this month? I'm like, that's easy. Yes.
Yes.
So I won that one. I was like, all right, cool. That's good. I don't know. It's still gambling though. When I do it, I only do it like, like maybe $5 or $10. I don't put a lot of money in it because, at the end of the day, it's a hit or a miss, but sometimes I just like doing those little tiny bets. Oh, and I got another thing for NFL people. A lot of people are doing their draft picks now. I know my partner is very involved in her NFL draft picks, and she's part of all these different leagues. And every Sunday she's got like the TV on, and we have some program where she watches 4 football games at once. And I call her my husband on Sundays during football season because she's, just screaming the whole day, and she's on the phone with her friends. And well, it's like, okay, whatever. Anyways, I'm not a big football person, but I did have a dream about a quarterback doing really well this year. And it was Caleb Williams of the Chicago Bears.
Oh, you gave it away. I was going to teaser it for your.
Oh, see, I love that. I love the marketing in you. You got some marketing in you too.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. You do.
Well, for you. Just because I know what you're offering and I know it's a good product. And so I just want people to join you. So, you can get all your good information out.
Well, thank you. I love you, Cinnamon. You're the best.
Yeah, I love you back, Marisa.
And if anybody wants a reading with Cinnamon, visit cinnamonmancini.com. And my website is sacredtarotcardreadings.com. And then my Patreon is patreon.com/cryptopsychic. Is there anything else you would like to add, Cinnamon?
Well, just, we're super grateful to be doing this every week. So thank you to everyone. Marisa did put us on Spotify. You want to say something about that? So anybody that wants to see us or hear from us, or anybody that's out there listening to us from Spotify, if you want to leave a hello, where you're from, where you're listening to us from, in the Spotify comments.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, we're on Spotify now. I'm going to try to get it on Apple and Amazon Music at some point. I don't know. I just got to sit down and take time to do it. You know how
all
it is
the time,
being
right?
so busy. I'm so busy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But a shout out to Paul Hesh too for doing our intro. That like the song, the Cinnamon song. Every time I hear it, I freaking laugh. Like, oh my gosh. When I first met Cinnamon, she was one of the first people that I met at the expos. Oh. And I found, your name is Cinnamon. I love cinnamon rolls, obviously. Yep. And you like crypto, you're psychic. I went home and my partner was like, man, that's like the perfect friend for you.
Mm-hmm.
So
100%.
Thank you, Paul, for doing our intro and the song. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we love it.
All right. Well, until next time, everything that we've said here is not financial advice. It's our personal opinions and psychic predictions. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.
See you all.